Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to the second part of lecture 4 of statistics and probability theory. We will continue the topic total law of probability. Example number 2. 3 boxes contain red and green balls. Box 1 has 5 red balls and 5 green balls. Box 2 has 7 red balls and 3 green balls, and box 3 contains 6 red balls and 4 green balls. As we have 3 boxes here, each box has 2 types of balls, red and green. The respective probabilities of choosing a box are 1 by 4, 1 by 6 and 1 by 8. Like you can see here that 1 by 4, 1 by 6 and 1 by 8. As you remind the previous example, the selection probability of the boxes were not mentioned there. So what we did, we find out the selection probability by applying the probability of an event definition, number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes, which is 1 by 3. Now, in this example, we have already given the selection probability of each box, which is 1 by 4, 1 by 6 and 1 by 8. What we have to do? What is the probability that the ball chosen is green? We have to find out the probability that the chosen ball is green. Now, if we see the scenario here is that we have 3 boxes, again box 1, box 2, box 3. Box 1, let's say B1. Box 2, let's say B2. Box 3, let's say B3. Each box has its own selection probability. Box 1 is 1 by 4. Box 2 is 1 by 6 and box 3 is 1 by 8. Now each box has 2 types of balls, green. Let's suppose T represents the green balls and red. Same is the case in the other boxes, green and red, green and red. So what this T diagram is indicating, box 1 is selected, either green ball will come or red ball will come. Box 2 will be selected, either green ball will come or red ball will come. Now, what's your concern? Your concern is of the choosing of the green ball. So, if we see the box number 1, we have 5 green balls and total we have 10 balls. So, what's the selection probability of green ball from the box number 1 is 5 by 10. Selection probability of green ball from the box number 2 is 3 by 10. It's 3 by 10 because total we have 3 green balls and total balls in the box 2 are 10. So 3 by 10. And for the box number 3, the selection probability of green ball is 4 by 10. As you can see this scenario from this tree diagram, that box number 1, box number 2, box number 3, and the selection probability of green ball is 5 by 10, 3 by 10 and 4 by 10 from the each box. As you can see this from this explanation, that G is the green ball, B1 represents box 1, B2 represents box 2, B3 represents box 3, and probability of G and it's coming from the box 1 is 5 by 10. probability that green ball is coming from the box 2 is 3 by 10, and probability that green ball is coming from box 3 is 4 by 10, and selection probability of box 1 is 1 by 4, box 2 is 1 by 6, box 3 is 1 by 8. You have to find the probability that green ball will come. So what we will apply the total law of probability, which would be equal to probability that, look, here we are concerned with the green ball. We have three situations here, that either the box 1 will be selected and green ball will come from it, or box 2 will be selected and green ball will come from it, or box 3 will be selected and green ball will come from it. If we write it, so how can we write it? Box 1 will be selected and green ball is coming, or box 2 is selected and green ball is selected, or box 3 is selected and green ball is selected. So, selection of the green ball from the box 1 is 5 by 10 and selection of box 1 is 1 by 4. You can apply the total law of probability here by opening it further. We will get it like this, that box 1 is selected and green ball is coming from it. From where? It is coming from the box number 1. Plus, you can open these two as well, which will lead us to the total law of the probability. Selection of the box 1 is 1 by 4 into green ball from the box 1 is 5 by 10. Similarly, with this scenario is 1 by 6 into 3 by 10, and for this scenario is 1 by 8 into 4 by 10. We will add all these situations by applying the total law of probability, which will give us the 9 by 40, which is the selection of probability of selection of the green ball. Example number 3. Two different suppliers A and B provide a manufacturer with the same part. All supplies of this part are kept in a large bin. In the past, 5% of the parts supplied by A and 9% of the parts are supplied by B have been defective. A supplies 4 times as many as B. What this statement is saying us? It is saying us that the supplies given by A are 4 times as many as B. Suppose you reach into the bin and select a part. Find the probability that it is non-defective. So if you concentrate on the example, there are two suppliers, A and B. Each supply to the manufacturer, and the information given to us is that 5% of the parts supplied by A are defective and 9% of the parts supplied by B are defective. And what we know further. We only know that A supplies 4 times as many as B. We don't know how much A supplies, but only we know that A supplies 4 times as many as B. And what probability we have to find? We have to find the probability that the selected part is non-defective. Now the situation change here. Like what? The information given us is of the defective items. And probability we have to find is for the non-defective. So what will we gonna do? We have that defective part provided by the supplier A is 0.05 represents for the defective part. Defective part given by the supplier B is 0.09. The only information we know about the supplies of A and B, total supplies of A and B, is that A supplies 4 times as many parts as B. This only information is given in the question. We don't know any further information. We have to know for the further simplification that how much supplies is given by the supplier A and how much supplies is given by the supplier B. As you concentrate on the statement, it is given that A supplies 4 times as many parts as B. So it means that the probability that A supplies is equal to 4 times as B. So as we know that by the axiom of the probability, as you have learned in the previous lectures, that total probability is always equal to 1. That if you sum the all possible events, the probability should be 1 and the events should be mutually exclusive. In this particular scenario, we only have 2 events that we are getting the supply. Supply could be from the supplier A or from the supplier B. There is no third option and both the events are mutually exclusive too. Like A and B will be empty set. Now, if we have only 2 possibilities here that either A would apply or B would apply, the sum should be 1 because we know that total probability is always equal to 1. Now, as we know, probability of A is equal to 4 times probability of B. So, we substitute this value or this statement here. Probability of A is equal to 4 times probability of B plus probability of B, which will equal to 1, and it would be equal to probability of B, which is equal to 1 by 5. We have probability of B is equal to 1 by 5. That supply is coming from the supplier B. Its probability is 1 by 5. Now, from here, we can find out the probability of A. As we know here, the probability of B, which is equal to 1 minus probability of B, which will be equal to 1 by 1 minus, we have to use the eraser here. Now, 1 minus 1 by 5, which is equal to 4 by 5. So now we got the probability of B, that the supplies coming from the supplier B is 1 by 5 and supplies coming from the supplier A is 4 by 5. Now we can find out that the probability that defective item is coming or defective supply is coming. By applying the total law of probability, what we have two situations that supplier A have supplied these supplies and we got the defective item, or supplier B have given us his supplies and we got the defective item. We have two scenarios. Either this could happen or this could happen. We will add both. So this would be equal to probability of A, that supplier A will supply and defective item will come from the supplier A, or supplier A will supply and defective item will come from the supplier B. This is again the total law of probability. Now probability that defective item is or defective part is coming is equal to probability of A, which we have find is 4 by 5, into defective part is coming from the supplier A is 0.05 plus supplier B's probability is 1 by 5 and defective part is coming from the supplier B is 0.09. The probability that defective part will come is 0.05. But wait, what's the question was saying? Question was saying that find the probability that it is non-defective. We have find out the probability of the defective part, but we are interested in the probability of the non-defective part, that the selective part from the bin is defective. Now let us represent non-defective part by ND, as the scenario has two possibilities, that either the defective part will come or non-defective part will come. We have only two possible options. So the total probability of selection of part from the bin would be equal to 1, because we have only two possible for this particular experiment, that either the defective part will come or non-defective part will come. So from here, as we already know the probability of the defective part, which is 0.058, we can find out the probability of the non-defective part, which is 0.942.